Greece faces record unemployment and recession. The local governments, along with IMF and EU, have all failed to the key strategic targets. I propose here an alternative method. I propose a way to gradually monetize sovereign debt, strengthening local economy, and creating a window of opportunity for radical political changes and valuable reforms, a path to recovery and sustainable development. The key to this method is a gradual voluntary transformation of sovereign debt into an extension of purchase power. But before getting into the details, let's have a look at the Greek tragedy. Unemployment rate in Greece has grown over 27.5%. The recession is 5% this year, and last year it was more than 7%. The cumulative recession during the crisis years is estimated at 25%, and the unemployment among young people has reached the tremendous number of 67%. Well, I believe that there is an alternative way, without the need to exit the Eurozone, which is no option today for Greece. There is a way to gradually diminish the Greek sovereign debt, stabilize the economy back to at least a small development rate, and focus on reforms without the social disaster we currently face. The sovereign debt has created a long chain of debts that freeze the economy. There are several cases that loops between sovereign debt holders and tax debtors lead to shutdowns and bankruptcies of competitive businesses. However, this can all change. I propose a method to gradually monetize sovereign debt, strengthening the economy and combining recovery and reform. This method is the bridge across the crisis. It's a way to start recovery immediately. But let's see how it works. The first step is the creation of a new special type of bank accounts. Bank accounts that will hold sovereign debt value in custody. Such accounts will be created for all existing domestic saving accounts and will be connected with these. The accounts at first will be empty with zero balance and will wait there for some balance to be credited after a process that will be described later on. These accounts will be interest-free, tax-free, and also expense-free. Additionally, no direct deposit or withdrawals will be allowed to this account. This account will only be used automatically in a process that I describe right after. For simplicity, I name these accounts as SDIC accounts, where SDIC stands for Sovereign Debt in Custody. The second step is the creation of a registry. Domestic and foreign holders of sovereign debt will be able to apply and register on that, so that to liquidize part of the value of their bonds without interest, but much sooner than the bonds expire, under the new liquidation plan. The applicants will set the value that they wish to liquidize under the new system. The value should obviously be part of the bonds they own. The local government, together with the ECB, European Central Bank, will have access to this registry. On a regular basis, they will mutually decide how much of these bonds will be transformed to SDIC values in the account of the bond owners, cancelling their respective bonds. The total value needs to be high enough to stabilize the economy and low enough to avoid undesirable inflation. The third point is the heart of the whole system. It's a new process that needs to be integrated into bank fund transferring. Each time a fund transfer is processed within the banking system, a new process will be addressed. The payer's bank, before debiting the payer's savings account, will check if there is balance at his SDIC account. If there is, up to 50% of the total value of the transfer will be taken from his SDIC account and transferred to the respective SDIC account of the receiver at the bank of reception. The remaining amount will be processed as usual. If there is no balance in the payer's SDIC account, or one of the banks involved in the transaction does not support SDIC, the process remains as we know it. The mechanism enables the SDIC value to circulate in the market at its nominal value exclusively through the banking system, without devaluation turbulences and free from expiration dates. At the same time, the government does not have to pay interest for these values of sovereign debt. Moreover, a bond owner can only use this value in his transactions providing that he has at least the same value of standard liquidity at the bank where he keeps his SDIC balance. This is a motivation to Greek bond owners to bring some funds in Greece and use them together with their SDIC balances. The fourth point is critical for the state's liquidity. SDIC values will eventually arrive to the government's savings accounts as part of tax collections. Today, the Greek government is hesitant to counterbalance Greek bond values and taxes, despite of the earning in interest costs. However, this is quite reasonable because the main problem of the domestic government is liquidity. Moreover, in many cases, the loop between bonds and tax debts includes many more than the bond owner and the government, forming a debt chain that freezes domestic economy. In that sense, the new system will facilitate overall counterbalancing. So, to maintain governmental liquidity, the new system will enable that the government recycles part of SDIC value. SDIC value in the government accounts can therefore have two destinies. One, if there is a significant surplus, it can be written off after a decision of the government together with the European Central Bank. And second, if there is no significant surplus, it can be passed over. It can be recycled as part of governmental payments to its creditors, to state employees or to state suppliers. In order to make the whole concept understandable, let's analyze a simple example. Let's assume a bond owner that applies to transform bonds of 100,000 euro. The bonds are cancelled and their value is credited to his SDIC account. Let's also assume that the same person has a normal savings account with a balance, say, of 100,000 euro again. Together with his SDIC account, he can now make payments through the local banking system of up to 200,000 euro. He can pay his employees, buy assets, purchase goods, pay his taxes or his credit card bills, making use of SDIC value together with his savings. The debt chain is smashed, creating new jobs, VAT, income tax, and other income for the government and the taxpayers. Obviously, this system can create significant benefits for the economy. It can really bring recovery to reality. it can solve a lot of liquidity problems and create new income for people and state. At the same time, the government, together with the European Central Bank, will keep full control of the added liquidity and control the system so that they avoid side effects. However, what happens if somebody does not want to hold SDIC volume? The government can always allow a reverse transaction, an application of an owner of SDIC value to transform it back to state bonds. This is quite interesting for existing blocking situation of the bond owners, because it introduces a reverse process that balances the whole system. Some people ask me, is it reasonable to pay using debt? But debt is already circulating in the market in several forms. This is nothing new. It's just a new form and a new system for the circulation of public debt, of government debt into the market. Some other people ask me, will this last? Will this recovery that this system will bring be durable? Well, that depends. Well, it is not enough to provide sustainability on its own. It will require that the banks start doing their job correctly. It will require that radical reforms are promoted so that competitiveness is enhanced. It will require that the window of opportunity, the window of recovery that will be created, will be wisely used. Before closing, I would like to point out that the idea and the methodology of this proposal is not part of the official positions of Δημιουργία Ξανά political movement to which I participate. I want to thank you all for your attention, and would appreciate your comments and your questions in the Facebook page I have created for this cause. Thank you again, and I'm looking forward to discuss and challenge your questions.